Shabbat Shalom to the hopefully elect of Asherah Israel. First of all, I'd like to start off by giving all glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakash. Double honor to teachers, elders, and apostles, great millstone, likewise, brothers, putting out this truth. Faithfully, fearlessly feeding the sheep and to brothers and sisters. Tuning in, Shalom. Today's lesson's title, A Divided Edom Shall Fall. Let's start off with our first scripture before we go into a couple clips that I have for this video lesson. This is the book of Mark 3 and start verse 23, and it reads, And he called them unto him, and said unto them in parables, How can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against himself, and be divided, he cannot stand, but had an end. And this is exactly what's taking place here in Great Babylon, America, okay, also known as the Empire of the Edomites, okay, or Edom, okay, and many other names, okay. And as you'll see in these clips, it's clear even to these Edomites that they are divided, and a few things needs to be done, and that includes either standing up against their power or readjust the decisions or the path that their rulers have taken, which is causing great misery on these people. Let's take a look at this video clip, and then we'll continue.
This country is collapsing. We are witnessing the collapse of America. Not someday, not hypothetically, right now, right before our eyes. There is no accountability, no consequences. Political leaders have failed us miserably and are failing us miserably. Military leadership is non-existent, and the people are being left to deal with this all alone. This isn't about parties anymore. This isn't about ideology. This is about a system that no longer protects its own citizens and no longer answers to them. The response from those in power is not solutions. This is force, it's silence, it's pretending that this can be controlled and everything will be okay. Now, I'm not calling for violence, but I am saying we are being abandoned. So hear this clearly. The only way this country comes back is if the people take it back. We pull our support financially, we pull our money, we pull our votes, we refuse to keep feeding a system that is destroying us. There is no one coming to save us. We must protect each other, stay alert, stay sharp, be careful, and hold the line, my friends. Hold the line.
Now, as you saw in that video clip, okay, clearly there is an understanding that something is wrong here in Great Babylon, America. Actually, when we go into the book of Ecclesiasticus 14 and starting verse 5, it reads, He that is evil to himself, to whom will he be good? He shall not take pleasure in his goods. There is none worse than he that envieth himself, and this is a recompense of his wickedness. And so when you envy yourself, you cannot enjoy, okay, the richness or the things that basically they've strived to achieve, okay, or have. Okay, so here's Esau. They have it all, basically the world on a plate to them. They have all the wealth, okay, all the resources, and yet still they can't be happy with that. They're divided. They're fighting amongst themselves. They're not being the leadership that the world, okay, was looking at them to be. So here they are right now in a crumbling empire, about to go to war. And this is not the war against these other tribes, which is going to take place, but it's a war within the tribe of Edom. Okay, let's go into the book of Malachi 1 and starting with verse 4, because we can see here, this man is full of pride, boasts. There is no thought about a higher power. In fact, he doesn't want anyone to think that there is a higher power. But clearly a higher power, which is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, is at work. It reads, Whereas Edom saith, We are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus said the Lord of hosts, Yahweh Shem Shai. They shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai had indignation forever. Everyone is calling these Edomites wicked. All the other tribes are, certainly the prophets are, okay? And it's written in the scriptures. Now these people, of course, they're worldly, so they only viewing the so-called white man, okay, Esau, as being evil because, they enjoyed a bit of happiness, a bit of success, trading with this man, basically complying with his ways, as far as democracy, allowing him to infiltrate their kingdom and set up his phony, fake, wicked government. And while it was going good, they liked it. But here they are right now, up in an uproar, crying. And it's the same thing here in Great Babylon, America. So the Lord has set up Esau in such a way that he allowed his own pride to bring him down. He allowed him to rebuild, all of his infrastructure, all of his global influence. He's got embassies everywhere. He's got his military spread all across this earth. He's forcing every tribe to bow down to him. But at the end of the day, right before the eyes of the whole entire earth, this wicked kingdom is falling apart. Okay, let's go into 2nd Ezra 15 and starting with verse 14. And then I'm going to show you another clip. This is 2nd Ezra 15, verse 14. It reads, Woe to the world and them that dwell therein. For the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the cost of their action shall stand in their power. Now it's going to be global, because the people across the earth, they realize that their governments are fake, and was not in their best interest. It was always the interest of the so-called United States, okay, or Great Babylon, America, or the empire of the Edomites. So they're going to rise up against their government in these different nations. But let's talk about Great Babylon, America itself, because you're hearing talks right now, okay, and this is coming from these Edomites. They're fed up. This isn't how it's supposed to be. And they like to talk about the Constitution, their rights. And here it is right now. They feel violated, and they are violated. Okay? They feel that they've been neglected, and they are neglected. They feel like they've been ostracized from what they consider to be the true American way. What their forefathers had dreamed of is that they would live in complete and utter prosperity forever. Well, every good thing comes to an end. Let's take a look at this video clip.
I'm not a panicky, alarmist type person, and I don't do conspiracy theories. But history tells us this country is on the verge of collapse. I will quickly give you the 6 things that lead to the collapse of an empire, in this case, the United States. Ray Dalio studied the rise and fall of empires going back 500 years, and every time, the collapse was followed by the same 6 phases. Phase 1 was a new order rising, strong leadership, solid education, innovation, unity. Yeah, we had that. Post-World War II, when we actually built stuff and invested in people. Phase 2 was peace and prosperity. Productivity booms, the economy grows, people trust in institutions. Well, we had that. The middle class was strong, unions had power, and the government wasn't a fucking punchline. Phase 3 is massive debt and wealth gaps. The rich get richer, and the poor get tax advice like stop buying coffee. Well, we're there, because the top 1% own more wealth than the entire middle class combined. Phase 4, internal conflict and political polarization. Trust erodes, people stop believing in the system. Well, we have one party destroying the country and the others watching. Nobody's solving shit. Phase 5 is the loss of reserve currency status and global power. Dalio said this stage includes excessive debt creation, weakening productivity, and rising internal conflict. Debt? We're at 36 trillion and climbing. We're adding a trillion every 100 days. Productivity has slowed drastically. Internal conflict? Well, amongst a million other things, 58% of Republicans still think the 2020 election was stolen. Clearly, we're deep in Phase 5. Phase 6 is collapse, revolt, or radical reset. Dalio said this phase usually brings civil wars, revolutions, or a major restructuring of the system. Now look around. We've had an insurrection attempt, record gun violence, massive protests, jobs plummeting, the military deployed in Los Angeles, election denial, alligator Alcatraz, and even the Supreme Court giving Trump a green light to pretty much do whatever he wants unimpeded. We're not fully there yet, but there are cracks. I like to think I'm a realistic optimist, but since we've already hit 5 phases and we're teetering on 6, I think our only chance of righting the ship is in the midterms. So we better get loud and stay loud, because this MAGA experiment has done nothing but fast track us to be another example in Ray Dalio's book.
And there you have it. Okay? Now this isn't us coming out and telling you Edomites to rise up. We're just simply telling you what you're going to do. And there's nothing you can do about it, because y'all have trusted in your own system, in your own lies. We, on the other hand, those of us who are awake, we're trusting on Yahweh Shema Shai. So it doesn't matter to us what y'all do. We're just going to tell you what you're going to do. But we like to warn our people, the 2/3 that are going to join you, because they pledge your allegiance to Great Babylon America. They believe in all the lies, and they want the continuity of this place, not understanding that their inheritance is significantly much to the trillion times better than this garbage and hellhole and shithole that we are living in right now. Finishing out our judgment. This is Isaiah 24, Psalm verse 11. It reads, "There is crying for wine in the streets, all joy is darkened. The murder of the land is gone. In the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction." That's talking about here. It's really, I'm so sick of looking at you damn sorry ass Edomites, you crackers, just crying about your miserable life. Have you taken a look at your history book of what y'all have done to us? But y'all expect pity. Y'all want join hands together to help save you. That can't happen. The Lord Yahweh Shemashah told us not to even pray for our own people. He says don't pray for these people, because when he started judging 2/3, yeah, it's going to be horrific to look at. But they deserve it. What we are concerned about is, are we a part of the elect? Each and every individual. We only pray for the elect. So imagine you other tribes, starting with you Edomites. You deserve everything that's coming to you and a whole lot more. Wait till you get into the kingdom. Let's close out with the book of Proverbs 21 and verse 12. It reads, "The righteous man wisely considered the house of the wicked." Yeah, we hear you talk. Make America great again. Yeah, right. All your other promises, all this other things that, look, yeah, 250-year anniversary is coming this year. We hope that the conclusion of 2026 looks nothing like how it looks right now, which is the beginning of 2026. Because we know the elect is going to be protected. But the rest of you people, oh boy. Besides, we need more visuals to make these lessons. Okay? It really makes the lessons much better when we have you crying on the screen and being miserable. Okay? It says, "The righteous man wisely considered the house of the wicked, but power overthrew the wicked for their wickedness. And all of you Edomites are wicked. Whoso stoppeth his ear at the cry of the poor, he also shall cry himself, but shall not be heard." We can go back to the 60s right up until what? Recently, right now, as these Gestapo troops going around and beating the shit out of Jakes, pulling them out of the vehicles, beating them down, stomping them. And that's just only with the HSI and the ICE agents, what they're showing you. What about the regular cops that are continuously putting Jakes in the spirit world? When I say Jakes, I'm talking about so-called blacks and Americans and Latinos, especially the so-called blacks and Latinos and Hispanics. But now y'all want us to feel sorry for you, pray for you, that you can have that great lavish life and take those extra vacation and sail off into the sunset with your puppy and your dogs and your white picket fence. Yeah, right. Nope. You're divided. Edom is divided and you will fall. Shalom to the whole elect.